Welcome to the Chingona Living Podcast, the place where healing meets poder. I am your host, Anabel Quintanilla, mamá, mujer en revolución, life coach, spiritual coach, here on a misión to help all women remember who they are. Bienvenida al podcast hoy, amiga. We are going to talk about the different stages of healing. We're going to dive into where we spend the majority of our time sanando and why we find it really hard to create progress and get to that place where we actually feel like ourselves again. Vamos a hablar un poquito de eso. También vamos a hablar de lo que es the Chingona Wellness Revolución. This is I'm going to call it a program so that you understand what I'm talking about. Es una invitación a que participes en este programa de revolución that starts again in just a couple of weeks, where you get to reclaim your poder going through the different stages that is the Chingona Wellness Revolución. We go through the release stage where we let go of all of the shit that we no longer want to deal with. We rewire a lot of our beliefs, and then we reclaim our power. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. I want to dive into the different stages of healing because lo he visto mucho con mis clientas in one-on-one conversations. I talked about it in Amigas Chingonas, which is the comunidad that I host on a regular basis. We meet 2 to 3 times a month. We learn different things and we talk about life's challenges, if you will. We also share our victories. We're a really good group and we're growing, and I'm so excited about that. Last night we talked about the different stages of healing. So I'm going to give you a quick recap about what it is that I shared, and you're welcome to write this down. If not, when you join Amigas Chingonas, you're definitely going to have access to that recording and to the work that we're doing. It's probably going to end up being part of the student dashboard, because we have a student dashboard in Amigas Chingonas. But anyhow, they're in no particular order except when you get to embodiment, okay? So we spend a lot of time flip-flopping around the first 3 stages that are very common in what I see with my clients, what I see in coaching. The first stage that I want to talk about is interpretation, okay? We spend a lot of time trying to understand what happened and why it happened to us. We spend a lot of time trying to figure out the root cause of something, the origin story, if you will. ¿Por qué soy así? ¿Dónde aprendí a ser así? We spend a lot of time, especially in what I found in traditional therapeutic modalities. Talk therapy, psychotherapy. I'm not knocking it, but I see this a lot with clients that tell me, I have been in therapy for years, and then we'll coach for a few weeks or a few months, right, depending on the need of the individual. And it's like, and they'll say, I never learned this. I didn't feel the progress that I feel with you in years of therapy. And there are some therapists that can help women advance, and there are others that spend so much time in unrooting and unrooting and unrooting. So they're flip-flopping between interpretation, why, el por qué soy así, dónde lo aprendí, quién me enseñó, fue mi mamá, fue mi papá, fue mi abuelita, muchísimo tiempo en lo que se llama la interpretación de la historia, entender la historia, el origen de la historia. And then there's excavating. And in excavating, we are really pulling out things, and we're spending a lot of time in releasing. So aquí es donde veo lots of vision boards, but really that's in the next stage. Lo que veo aquí son, lots of shadow work, lots of journaling, lots of rituals, right? Full moon rituals, new moon rituals, release rituals, healing rituals, letting shit go, burning ceremonies, fire ceremonies, lots of letting it go, which is important. All of the different stages of healing are very important. But if you're always healing, are you ever healed? That was the question that I asked the comunidad last night. If you're always healing, are you ever healed? I don't know, you tell me. For me, the answer is no. If I'm constantly healing, that means that I'm constantly feeling less than, I'm feeling broken in some area, I'm feeling like the thoughts are that my relationships need repairing. There's a part of me that feels less than confident, less than whole, less than ready, less than worthy. Si siempre estás sanando cuando llegas a ese punto de ya sanaste, si siempre estás sanando, entonces ¿cuándo te consideras que ya eres sana, que ya eres suficiente? And I want you to sit with that question, because healing is such a trendy topic. And I use it too as a life coach, right? I use it too as a spiritual coach. In fact, Amigas Chingonas se llama the Healing and Wellness Comunidad. Healing is a big part of it because there are parts of us that we do have to heal. And then we get to integrate the lessons, and then we get to enjoy what we know as wellness, what we know as wholeness. Lo que es sentirse plena, lo que es sentirse bien. The third stage that I see very common is the rewiring stage. And it's an important stage. I can't emphasize how important it is to rewire your brain, reprogramar tu cabeza, tener nuevas creencias, right? So this is where I see a lot of mirror work. I see a lot of affirmations. I see a lot of vision boarding. We're calling in that new life. The problem is that in the rewiring phase, we don't necessarily believe the new belief systems that we want to believe. So ya sabemos lo que no queremos creer, right? We've done the release work. We've done the unrooting, the understanding why. What are we ready to let go of? What is the new belief system? So, and I gave the example in Amigas Chingonas that there's a lot of, you see this, right? People will find a meme or a post on social media that really speaks to their heart, and they'll share it to their story. And then there's another one, and they share it to their story. And they share it to their story. And they share it to their story. And that's fantastic. When you have those one-on-one conversations, okay, compartiste todas estas historias inspiracionales y las crees? Do you believe them to be true for you? Or do you still find yourself suffering in life? Do you still find yourself a victim of life's circumstances? And the majority of the time, that's exactly how they're feeling. They want to believe these things that they're sharing. They want to believe these things that they're telling themselves in the mirror. They want to believe all of the affirmations that they're pulling. They want to believe that what their oracle card is telling them is true for them too. Yet they don't believe it yet. They don't believe it for themselves yet. And so what do? We go back to why. Who taught me how to be this broken? Who taught me how to suffer this way? ¿Quién me puso el ejemplo que ahora estoy demostrando con mis hábitos, con mis creencias? ¿Quién? ¿Dónde? We go back to interpretation. And then we do a little bit more discovery. And then we're like, oh, no. Now I'm ready to release. Let it go. Right? We're excavating. We're pulling it out. Yay! And then, okay, what is my new belief system? And we're rewiring, and we're reaffirming, and we're doing more we're doing more vision boards, and we're doing more mirror work. I'm looking at a mirror right there. But until this is where the medicine really is, okay? This is where your true reclamation of power, la reclamación de tu poder, sucede en esta cuarta etapa. Encarnación. Embodiment. When you get to this stage where you wake up in the morning and you ask yourself, what is my intention for today? You start your day with the intention. ¿Cuál es la intención de este día? I'm going to let things be easy. And then throughout the day, you let things be easy. Me voy a alinear con la frecuencia de la abundancia. I'm going to align to the frequency of abundance, which means that you believe that abundance is already all around you. You don't have to struggle or hustle to bring it in, whether it's money or good health or quality relationships, whatever it is that you desire. It already exists in abundance all around you. And all you have to do is be present enough to receive it because it's coming in. And so throughout the day, you're saying yes to things that really matter. You're saying, let me check in with my spirit to the things that really feel out of alignment. You don't say, no, I can't, or I can't afford it, or we don't use that language because that language changes our frequency, which moves us out of alignment with abundance. In embodiment, you ask yourself, what does the healthiest version of me drink? What does the healthiest version of me eat? What time does she go to bed? How does she rest and recharge throughout the day, throughout the week? What does she wear? How does she walk? How does she move her body? How does she respond to a client or to a person whose energy may be a little off-putting to her? In embodiment, it's about the energy of your most healed self. That's the energy that you're ready to embody. In the stage of embodiment, you already know that all that you desire in your heart and in your mind is already a possibility for you. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had the thought about that thing. En esta etapa de encarnación, ya no negociamos con nosotras mismas. Ya sabemos lo que es posible. Ya creemos que todo lo que deseamos, que hemos visto como una realidad en nuestra cabeza o que lo hemos sentido en nuestro cuerpo, que lo hemos sentido en nuestro corazón, ya existe como una realidad posible para nosotras. It's a completely different energy. Cómo se viste esta versión ya sana. Cómo se mueve, qué elige, qué come, qué bebe. And then you act as if. You don't spend time trying to convince yourself like you do in the rewiring phase. You act as if. Actúas como si ya fueras porque ya lo eres. Porque ya lo eres. Y este es un concepto que mientras que no entres a la etapa de encarnación, if you don't get to the stage of embodiment, it just remains a concept. It never becomes the living truth for you. Permanece como un concepto y nunca se convierte en una verdad que te toca vivir. The embodiment stage is such an important stage. It's probably more important. I'm going to go ahead and say that it is more important than all the other stages. Todas las otras etapas, claro que tienen su lugar en el proceso de sanación. Son importantes. Y más importante creo que es la etapa de encarnación. Porque mientras que no empieces a vivir como la mujer que ya, siempre vas a estar sanando. Ahora te invito a que vivas tu vida como que ya eres, porque ya eres. Right? That's the invitation, to start living your life like or as if, because you already are. So even saying things like, I want to be that strong. You are that strong. Ya lo eres. You already are that strong. You just don't remember it. That's what we need to really get to the point of belief, is that I just don't remember it. But yet I am. Just because you don't remember every single part of your childhood doesn't mean you didn't have a childhood. Tuviste niñez, aunque no recuerdes todas las partes de tu niñez. Just because you don't remember what you had for breakfast or lunch or for dinner yesterday or the day before doesn't mean you didn't eat. You ate. You just don't remember it. certain things are worth remembering. Other things, I don't really need to spend time there. But yet, the interpretation and the excavation stage focuses on, well, what's wrong with you because you don't remember? What's wrong with you? There must be something wrong with you because you don't remember. How about remembering everything isn't really that important? What is important is, how do I want to feel today and moving forward? Who do I get to be today and moving forward? Es desde este momento en el ya en adelante. We spend a lot of time, because of the way that our egoic mind works, we spend a lot of time trying to understand those parts of us that we can't go back to change. So moving forward, who do we get to be? What does she wear? What does she do? How does she move? What does she drink? What does she eat? Moving forward, from here on out. And I'm going to invite you, one of the ways that you can get to remembering your power, reclamar tu poder, is through the Chingona Wellness Revolución. It is not another wellness program. There are 3 stages that we go through, and they are very important stages. The release stage is going to walk us through letting go of all that doesn't serve us, even if it's just temporarily. There is a body phase, right? And in el cuerpo phase, we go through a cleansing process where we, for 14 days, we stay away from certain foods that have been proven to cause inflammation in the body. We want to get to a place of total reset within our body. We also do that at the mental and the emotional level. So pasamos por cabeza, cuerpo, corazón to get to the place of espíritu. And we do that through releasing what no longer serves us, rewiring to this, I almost want to call it like recalibrating, okay? Porque es una, ¿cómo te diré? It's like a fine tuning of the thoughts and a fine tuning of the habits that we practice, and it's a fine tuning of the emotions that really help us. And then there's the reclaiming stage, donde reclamas tu poder porque ya te acordaste quién chingados eres y a qué veniste. We don't mess around with shit anymore, right? We don't fuck around. We don't negotiate with ourselves. We don't. And what's so interesting is that the things that previous participants of the Revolución have said to me is that it feels like I was always this person. I remember here in la cabeza, recuerdo como era. I remember how I was and what I used to do, but I have no emotional connection to that part of me. And let me tell you why this is so important, okay? Because we spend a lot of time rehashing our traumas, lo que vivimos y esas experiencias traumáticas que vivimos. And we spend so much time trying to understand our trauma and trying to rewire our trauma and trying to release our trauma. It's like, why are we still even calling it a trauma? Is it a trauma today? Are you living it again right now? Because you are. Every time that you rehash it, your nervous system goes through this experience like it's just happening for the very first time. So in the Chingona Wellness Revolución, we spend a lot of time understanding our ego versus our spirit and how our egoic mind really activates our nervous system and how we move into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And what our spirit is asking us to do. It is a program that I wish I had when I was going through some of the heaviest experiences of my life. It is a program that I've put together because of how it's helped me heal, right? My understanding of those different voices inside of me. Lo que me está diciendo mi ego, y lo que me quiere hacer recordar mi espíritu, pero no de una manera forzada, because your ego doesn't really force you. My spirit. My spirit is very fiery. Very, very, very fiery. Mi espíritu es una chispa. Es chingón mi espíritu, but not in your traditional white knuckle push. No, mi espíritu no hace eso. Y tampoco el tuyo. Your spirit will give you a very gentle nudge, but it's not going to force you to do anything because it knows that not doing certain things is part of your learning process. So it's very patient with you. Your ego is very impatient. So in the Chingona Wellness Revolución, we're really realigning to our spiritual higher self. We're recalibrating cabeza, cuerpo, corazón con lo que quiere nuestro espíritu. It's a 12-week process. It is life-changing, amiga. It is life-changing. Te invito a que vayas a mi sitio web, anabelquintanilla.com. anabelquintanilla.com. Okay, go to, fine, it's Anabel Quintanilla if that's the word, if that's the accent that you want to use. Go to my website. Go click on Revolución and get started. We start September 10th. Registration closes August 31st because I have to then prepare all of the printed material that gets mailed out to you. I have to prepare your Revolución essential oil blend. I don't actually have one right here, but it's about this size, 10 mLs. I have to get that ready and then ship it out to you because when we start on September 10th, we're diving right in. You have about 10 days to take the Empoderada course, which is a mandatory prerequisite because in the actual program, we use a lot of the language that you learn in Empoderada. It is very important that when I say, what is your default nervous system mode, that you know what I'm talking about, that you can answer freeze or fawn or flight or fight. But if I ask you, and you haven't taken the Empoderada course, what is your default nervous system response mode? You're like, I don't know. Well, then, did you not do the prerequisite? That is part of the Chingona wholeness journey, the Chingona wellness journey. So this is for women who are really ready to do the work. Not for the women who is like, let me see how it goes. No. For the woman that is saying, heck yeah, this is what I've been waiting for. I'm tired of feeling tired. I'm tired of not having any boundaries. I'm tired of feeling like I'm pushed around all the time. This is for the woman who is like, fuck yeah, I am ready. I am ready. ¿Y sabes de dónde va a venir esta decisión? No de aquí, no de tu mente consciente. It's really coming from that inner voice that is like, yes, yes. There's no convincing yourself. It's a wholehearted, whole body, whole soul. Yes, I am ready for that. So head on over to my website, anabelquintanilla.com. Click on the word that says Revolución and check it out. Get started. It is the last one for 2025. We start again sometime in January. The first round is going to be in January, but if you don't want to wait till then, if you want to start 2026 ya sintiéndote como la chingona que eres, then say yes to the September class and I'll see you there. And I'll see you again in another episode of the Chingona Living Podcast, amiga. Have yourself a fantastic and phenomenal day. Take care.